Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, everyone. I'm your host with the most from the left coast to west coast, Neon Black Chevelle, giving you something casual to listen to while you handle your business. You can be at work, you can be at home, just giving you some casual listening material. So without further ado, let's jump right into it. Boundaries equals currency. What's in your wallet? Let me ask you something. You ever reach for your wallet and it's not there? Not your phone, not your keys, your wallet. And for a split second, everything pauses. Because it's not about the wallet itself. It's about what it represents. It represents access, options, and movement. Without it, something shifts. You're limited. You can't move how you planned, and you can't operate the same way. Now here's the part most people overlook. You're carrying another wallet with you every single day, and a lot of people have no idea what's inside of it. Because whether you realize it or not, you're spending something constantly. No, not money. Something far more valuable. And instead of carrying it in your pocket, you're carrying it in your mindset. I'm talking about time. You're spending your time in places you didn't intend to stay that long. Your energy. You're giving your energy to things that don't pour anything back into you. And your focus. You're allowing your focus to drift toward anything that's loud enough to grab it. And the dangerous part is, it doesn't even feel like spending. It feels normal. It feels harmless. It feels like life just happened in real time. But that's how people go broke. Not all at once, but quietly and gradually. One unnoticed transaction at a time. And one day you look up and realize you don't have enough left for the things that actually matter. And that's where boundaries come in. But no, not the version people casually talk about, not just saying no, because you can still say no and still feel drained. Real boundaries are about ownership. They're about recognizing that everything in your life comes at a cost and deciding what's actually worth paying for. You ever notice how easy it is to give your attention away? You're locked in on something, focused, and then something small pulls you. A notification, a thought, a voice, and just like that, you shift. It doesn't feel like much, but it is. Because now your focus is broken. Your momentum is interrupted. Your clarity gone. That's a transaction. You just didn't feel the swipe. Now think about your actual wallet for a second. There are things in there that serve you, and then there are things you just carry. Stuff that had a purpose once, but doesn't anymore. And still, it stays. A lot of people are living the same way mentally, holding on to things that don't match who they're trying to become, keeping habits that made sense in a different season, carrying weight that no longer serves them, and wondering why everything feels heavy. Because they're trying to move forward with a wallet full of things that don't spend anymore. The wallet doesn't just hold what you spend, it holds who you are. Because you might say, Chevelle, I don't even use a wallet like that anymore. Everything's on my phone. Yeah, that sounds good until life requires proof. Stick with me. And the police ask you for your license. You know, they ask you for your license and registration and proof of insurance. Now, the proof of insurance is where? On your phone. It is, most of the time. Your registration, a piece of paper, but that could be on your phone as well. But when they ask you for your license, your identification, something that proves who you are, where do you go? You reach into your wallet or your purse and you pull out something that says, "This is me." That's not random, that's intentional. Because your wallet carries what? Identity. Now bring that back to your mind, right? Because if your wallet is your mind, then what you're carrying mentally is what you identify with. The way you see yourself, the standards you live by, the roles you've accepted, and the labels you never questioned. Some people are walking around with identity that expired years ago, still moving like who they used to be, still thinking like who they used to be, still deciding like who they used to be. And this is where it hits. Old identity, outdated mindset, unexamined beliefs. Still in rotation, still influencing decisions, still shaping outcomes. At some point, you have to update it. Because if your identity doesn't match where you're trying to go, everything will feel like resistance. And if you don't take control of that identity, something else will. People will define it. Your experiences will define it. And your mistakes will also define it. And before you know it, you're carrying a version of yourself that was built out of survival, not intention. So now the question changes. Not just what are you spending, but who are you when you spend it? And this is where most people lose track of what's really happening, because it doesn't feel like a loss. It just feels like everyday life. So slow it down for a second and really look at where it's going. Let's start with time. Time doesn't disappear all at once. It slips. It looks like saying you'll get back to something and never quite make it there. It looks like pushing something important back, just a little, and then doing it again tomorrow. That's called procrastination. And before you realize it, you're not behind because you couldn't do it. You're behind because your time was spent elsewhere. Now here's where it gets deeper. Stick with me. Because even if you still have time, that doesn't mean you have the capacity to use it. I'm gonna say that one more time. Even if you still have time, that does not mean you have the capacity to use it. Well, Chevelle, what do you mean? This is where energy comes in. You can have hours available, but if your energy is gone, none of that matters. And most of the time, you don't even notice where it went. Drained by conversations, pulled by distractions, spent on things that didn't deserve it. So now, when it's time to show up for something real, you're present, but not fully there. And then there's one more layer. Focus. Because even with time, even with energy, if your attention is scattered, you're still not moving the way you should. You sit down with intention, but your mind keeps drifting. And anything done in that state takes longer than it should, feels heavier than it should, and produces less than it could. So when you step back and look at it all, you realize something simple. It's not just about having time, it's about what condition you're in when it's time to use it. Now think about this, because there's another side to the wallet people don't talk about enough. The clutter. Things you forgot you even had, things you haven't touched in years, things you kept for no real reason other than, I might need this one day. But that day never came, and somehow it's still there. You see it again. You think about it for a moment, and instead of letting it go, you put it right back. That's not just a wallet habit, that's a mindset. Because mentally, people do the exact same thing. They hold on to things long after they've expired, not because they're useful, but because they're familiar. Yeah. You hear me? Yeah. They hold on to things long after they've expired, not because they're useful, but because they're familiar. They're holding on to old things. They're holding on to old habits. They're holding on to old decision making. They're holding on to past relationships. They're holding on to past memories. They're holding on to things long after they've expired, not because they're useful, but because they're familiar. So now you're moving forward, but you're carrying everything you never cleared out. And that slows you down. It clouds your judgment. It makes things feel heavier than they should because your mind isn't clear. It's full. And this is where it hits. Old thoughts, outdated beliefs, unnecessary attachments. Yes, I said that. I'm going to say it again for you. Old thoughts, outdated beliefs, unnecessary attachments, still sitting there, still taking up space, still costing you more than you realize. At some point, you have to stop convincing yourself you might need it and start being honest about the fact that you don't. Because clarity doesn't come from adding more. It comes from removing what no longer belongs. So ask yourself, what are you still holding on to that hasn't helped you in a long time? And why is it still there? Because at the end of the day, nobody else is responsible for managing your wallet. Not the people around you, not your friends, your work colleagues, not your accountability buddy that goes with you to the gym, not your spouse, not your girlfriend, not your boyfriend, not your instructor, not your teacher. Nobody else is responsible for managing your wallet, your mindset. Not the people around you, not your circumstances. You. And if you keep spending in places that don't return anything, don't be surprised when you feel the lack of it where it actually matters. So take a moment and really think about it. What are you carrying right now? What still has value and what's just taking up space? What are you protecting? And what are you giving away so easily? Because your life isn't shaped by what you have access to. It's shaped by what you allow access to you. Yes, your time, your energy, your focus. Yes, it's shaped by what you or who you allow to access your time, access your energy, access your focus. That's what's in your wallet. So protect it. Be intentional with it. Spend it where it actually matters. Because in the end, your future isn't just built on what you earn. It's built on what you keep. This is Neon Black Chevelle. I hope you learned or took something from this. And if you know someone who can and should hear this, you go ahead and send this to them. Like, follow, subscribe. You know what to do. For more messages. Stay locked.